Yo guys, Beast, back with some more beastly content. Today, we are going to be doing a guide over how to farm Stardust source, as well as about 4,000 energy links every single time you do a run of this Stardust farm. So, we are located at this little teleport tower right next to the Silo Theta. We are going to be using the Silo Theta to get a Stardust farm. So, as you can see here we go into Silo Theta. We are going to go ahead and get on into this. So we're going to be farming the secondary boss of this silo, actually. We're not even going to be worrying about the main boss, because the main boss will only be dropping 50 Stardust source for defeat, and he takes like 5 minutes to beat. The reason why we're not doing something like the Leah Labs or whatever one, even though I've heard it's very quick, is because it's not available until week 4 of the season, and for those of us who are on later servers, we're not actually able to do Leah Labs. So are you telling us just to wait to week 4 to have Stardust? Because it's kind of important for a lot of things. So as you can see here, just follow the following route I am going. We are currently at the minute portion of the video, and I spent 20 minutes on the intro. So 40 seconds into the video now, and we are almost at the end of this right here. So like I said, this is very, very quick. So you're just going to have to defeat these 3 eggs here, and you have to do this if you're going to do the actual boss, which the actual boss is to the left of this side I'm on right now. If you go through that doorway, follow it all the way down, go through all like the hoops and jumps you got to do to go beat that boss. You can finally go face that boss. He's a bullet sponge. He takes forever to beat, and only gets 50 Stardust out of him. Or you can do the secondary boss and just leave the dungeon and do it again. So let's go ahead and show you the secondary boss. This boss is actually kind of a puzzle boss. You gotta like complete a little bit of a puzzle. Pretty much all you gotta do is run through this tunnel, and then you're gonna get into this place full of water. And if you look in the water, you'll actually see the boss is underneath the water. It's really trippy to see. He's like standing on the water, underneath the water. And if you actually realize, the shadows of the statues are actually not the same as how the statues are. So all you need to do is rotate the statues to face the same shadow as what is in the water. So once you've ran this once or twice, you will actually get to the exact rotation method of it. As you can see, they're actually messed up a method. That statue behind us actually is not in the right rotation at this current point. However, we will be fixing that in just a second. Normally, when you rotate this statue, the final statue, the boss will just appear out of the water and you will be done. However, if he doesn't, go ahead and go check your statues, see if any of them are backwards. As you can see, this one right here was backwards. So, gotta rotate it around, and the boss is gonna pop right on out. So, if this boss looks familiar, it's because it's pretty much the same boss as the boss from Silo Phi, which is the lower level 25 boss Silo, and is really, really easy. I recommend using it for some farms, but as a matter of fact, low level energy farming. However, this is an even easier one, and it gives 4,000 energy links and 75 Stardust source. So, for those calibrations on your tier 5 weapons and armaments, you need to be getting done so you get that max calibration, so you get that max defense, max HP, max damage, all that good stuff. This is the easiest way to do it, guys. Look at this. Use a controller, collect it from here. 4,000 energy links and 75 Stardust. How do you restart it? We are 3 minutes into the video, guys. This farm takes less than 3 minutes to run every single run, and you're getting 75 Stardust. I literally had to run it a couple times. Here is that actual main boss for the silo, and as you can see here, it does give you a few more energy links and some more Stardust. Technically, you could do the secondary boss, then leave the secondary boss objective area, go do the main boss, and then run the whole silo again and get double the drops, and you're going to get 2 legendary guns and 2 sets of energy links. So I think the playoffs is even lower, so like I said. So we just exit the dungeon when we kill the secondary boss, and we go back in and we kill it again, and then we exit the dungeon and we go back in and we kill the secondary boss again, and every single time you're getting 75 Stardust and 4,000 of the energy links. This is a great energy link farm on top of Stardust. I mainly made this to be a Stardust farm guide. However, this also turns out to be one of the best energy link farms in the game. For pure speed-wise, I mean, this is 3 minutes and you're getting 75 Stardust and 4,000 of the energy links. And 3 minutes if you're going slow. Now, you can slow yourself down a little bit. Like you see, you can just run past all these ulcers, all these enemies. Just run past them all, guys. Don't even worry about fighting them unless you have to. Now, you can get messed up to where enemies will crowd you and you have to fight some enemies, but the good thing about that is there's a certain like food product you can make that will actually make it to where you'll get more acid drops out of enemies and more of a percent of an enemy to actually drop some acid. So you could make this a bit of an acid farm here in this portion with the eggs here, because the eggs will just constantly spawn those enemies there. If you go ahead and eat one of those food items, it makes acid drop more likely. This would be a decent little acid farm. However, there are many other ways of getting acid in the game, including just straight purchasing it from a shop. It has an infinite number that you can purchase, and all you gotta do is do cargo runs for guys to get a bunch of acid. So I really wouldn't recommend farming acid through this. However, I would recommend doing just the second boss, not even worrying about the first boss. If you try it, you run the second boss, and you try the first boss, or if you haven't cleared this before, I definitely recommend clearing the boss for the first time. But that's it, just for the mission clear, so you can get those stellar lunars, so that you can get yourself some nice star chrome out of that right there. But my main thing here that I'm telling you is just do the secondary boss. The final boss for this silo is a lot more bullet spongy than this you know, secondary boss. Also, it's just a little bit more difficult. Its crit spots are like its knee and its ankles for a majority of the battle, and then after that you just gotta keep wiping it down and make sure it doesn't kill you, and you gotta stand in muck that's constantly lowering your sanity, and I just don't got time for all that, guys. I would so much rather just farm this secondary boss, get the heck out of the dungeon, and go back in. As you can see, this is like our second or third run. Now, I kept recording, but I did end up capping the video off here at a 10-minute mark. I kept recording for a while just because I kept wanting to run it, because it's just such a quick run for so much rewards. It feels great to do, and it's honestly, it's nice when you find a farm like that. There's some things, like, if you were to do this whole silo and do the final boss, it is not a farm. That final boss, getting to him alone takes way too much time for me to classify that as a farm. This right here, this is a farm. This is a really easy farm. This farm is doable at least week 2 into the game. Probably even just week 2, or at least week 3 into the game. Probably week 2. I'm thinking week 1 you're not actually even allowed access to this region yet, but week 2 you should be able to do this. But regardless, I'm thinking most of us probably started on this game a week late, because we've seen it pop up on the top charts on Steam, and we're like, what the heck is that, and why is it free? And then we downloaded it, and we've been playing it, and we've all been enjoying it, and it's been a lovely time so far, at least for me, hopefully for y'all as well. As you can see, though, I mean, we're getting weapon blueprints, we're getting a ton of mods, we're getting all sorts of stuff. There is even a deviant that will spawn in this silo from this secondary boss. You can also farm a deviant while doing this secondary boss. That being said, if you are high into doing melee only things, or maybe like you have an acid farm that uses melee, but like, I'm working on an acid farm soon. Once I get that food item unlocked I was talking about, I'm going to do a recap of the acid farm, do one of the best acid farms you can ever do. Super duper easy, and with melee weapons, when we do get this finished off. But like I was saying, that deviant actually increases your melee damage, and it's called the enchanted something, or the enchanter, or the cat enchanted. Anyway, it's a black cat, but it's different from the sleeping cat, and it increases melee damage. So I got a couple of them now, just so you know, from doing this. So you will also be getting that deviant, or deviation, whichever one it is, which is weird, because literally even on the wiki, there's 2 different pages. There's a deviant page, and there's a deviations page, and some guides are saying deviations, and some are saying deviants, and I think it's deviants, but literally on the wiki a page said deviations the other day, and I was like, oh my goodness, people don't know if it's deviation or deviant, but I'm pretty sure it's deviant, guys. Let me know down below if it's deviation or deviant, because wiki is confused, because it calls them deviations. That's where I keep getting deviations from, I do believe. And maybe it's just because they switched up the names, went from deviations to deviants. Little deviants, little deviations. I don't really know what's up with that. But like I said, this is so easy to run, guys. As you can see, this is our 3rd run on this, and this is where we will be getting that deviation drop that I was telling you about, or that deviation, whichever one it is, once again. Once again, you're just running through this tunnel, and then you go through there, you do the puzzles with the shadows of the things right there, the reflections, which, once again, this game is just beautiful. When I first seen this area, I mean, it was just amazing to see the boss underneath the water like that. I was like, oh, there's the boss. Look at him. Man, how did he get under there? I mean, I was like, oh yeah, let's look at these statues, and I looked in the reflection, and I was like, oh, it makes sense, okay, so, literally, all you have to do, though, and then the boss is here, and he's meltable, because his crit spots are massive. His first one explodes, paralyzes him for a second. His second one will cause him to, you know, take a temporary sort of paralysis, because his shields are down, and then you can still hit that crit spot no matter what, even if he's moving around. Eventually, he will do this move where he gets his hand stuck underground, and that's really when you want to get all the damage, because his crit spot is just so open. But as you can see, it's like 2,000 damage area. And it's also 2,000 XP. I'm level 49. I'm 1 level away from level 50. But it's 2,000 XP per run of this thing. Every 3 minutes. 2,000 XP every 3 minutes. You know, there's probably like 50,000 XP for him an hour. But anyway, there's that deviation I was telling you about. We are just at about the end of the video, guys. I am going to go ahead and get out of here. Here, once again, increases melee damage. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode.